Special systems. The first part of this lesson will be on identifying solutions. With this lesson, we will be able to tell whether the ordered pair provided is a solution of the given system. Here's example 1. Take a minute to write the example down, pause the video, press play when you're ready to begin the example. Okay, so we're provided with 4, 1 as our ordered pair. This is a possible solution. However, we have to see if it is the correct solution for these two equations. So let's begin with the first equation. X plus 2y equals 6. Okay, in order to see if this ordered pair is a solution to this equation, we simply plug the ordered pair into the equation. So in place of x, we'll put 4 plus 2. In place of y, we'll put 1 equals 6. Okay, what's 2 plus 1? Well, not 2 plus 1, 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so now we have 4 plus 2 equals 6. Now finally, what's 4 plus 2? 6. Now you ask yourself, does 6 equal 6? Well, yes, it does. So this ordered pair works for that equation. However, in order for it to work for the entire system, it has to work for the second equation as well. So let's try that one. X minus y equals 3. In place of x, we'll place 4. In place of y, we'll place 1. 4 minus 1 equals 3. Does 3 equal 3? Yes. So we can conclude that this ordered pair is the solution to this system of equations. So we'll simply write yes. All right, pause the video here if you need to finish writing down the work for this example. Press play when you're ready to move on to the next example. Example 2. All right, let's go ahead and write this down. Again, pause the video in order to write it down. Press play when you're ready. All right, let's try it with the first equation. 2x plus 5y equals 8. In place of x, we'll put -1. And in place of y, we'll put 2. Okay, now let's simplify. 2 times -1 is -2. And 5 times 2 is 10. Now finally, what's -2 plus 10? 8. Does 8 equal 8? Yes, it does. So it works for that first equation. Now let's try it with the second equation. 3x minus 2y equals 5. In place of x, we'll put -1. And in place of y, we'll put 2. 3 times -1 is -3. -2 times 2 is -4. -3 minus 4 equals -7. Does -7 equal 5? No. So, because it doesn't work for the second equation, this ordered pair is not the solution to that system of equations. So your answer is no. Pause the video here if you need to finish copying down the work for this example. Press play when you're ready to move on. All right, example 3, you guys are going to try by yourself. So go ahead and pause the video here. Only press play once everyone has had the chance to try the problem on their own. Okay, in place of x, we'll put 1. In place of y, 3. 2 plus 3. 5 equals 5. That is correct. In place of x, again, we'll put 1. In place of y, 3. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. So for our final answer, we should have gotten yes. Hopefully most of you guys got the correct answer. If not, you got one more shot. All right, here's another one you guys are going to try by yourself. Pause the video so everyone has the opportunity to try it by themselves. Only press play once everyone has finished the problem. Okay, x minus 2y equals 4. In place of x, we'll put 2. In place of y, we'll put negative 1. Negative 2, negative 1 gives us 2. And 2 and 2 gives us 4. All right, so it works for the first one. For the second one, in place of x, we'll put 2. In place of y, negative 1. I'm sorry, y'all, that is so ugly. All right, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. It does not work for that one, so for your final answer, you should have gotten no. That ordered pair is not the solution. Now, we're going to move on to the second part of this lesson, which is over classifying systems. So, this lesson will teach us how to look at a system of equations and be able to tell whether there's one solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions. So pause the video here so you have a chance to create your table on your paper. Now that you've created your table, let's go ahead and fill in the table. We'll start with one solution. One solution is what we've been working with so far. So for one solution, if you see different slopes, that means that the system only has one solution. And what that would look like is something like this. Y equals 3x plus 2 and y equals 4x plus 2. Notice that the slopes are different because there are different slopes. That means that there's only one solution. What the graph will look like is two intersecting lines that meet at a point, which is your one solution. No solution, you'll expect to see the same slope but different y-intercepts. What those equations would look like is possibly y equals 3x plus 2 and y equals 3x minus 1. So we can see that we have the same slope, which is 3, but we have different y-intercepts, 2 and negative 1. This tells us that there is no solution. What the graphs look like are parallel lines. There's no solution, they never cross. They never meet, they never intersect. That means there's no solution. Lastly, we have infinitely many solutions. They have the same slope and same y-intercept. So essentially what you're looking at is the exact same equation. And what that looks like on a graph is the exact same line because it's going to be the same line graphed on top of the other line, okay? It's the exact same equation, exact same line. I know I went through that kind of fast, so you can pause the video here so everyone has a chance to write everything down. Only move on to the next slide once everyone has copied down the chart. All right, here is our first example. Take a minute to copy it down. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Now, in order to be able to tell what type of solutions we have, we need for both of these equations to be in slope-intercept form. So we're going to have to rewrite this equation. So I'm going to come over here to the side and solve this for y. In order to solve this for y, we're going to have to add x to both sides. So y equals x plus 2. So now we have our two equations that we're looking at. We have y equals x minus 1 and y equals x plus 2. Let's make some observations here. So we can observe that they have the same slope, right? Which is 1. When there's no, remember, when there's nothing here, that means 1. So they have the same slope. But look at the y-intercepts. We have a -1 here and a +2 here. They have different y-intercepts. So when we go back to our chart, what does that tell us that the solutions are? Same slope, different y-intercept tells us that our answer is no solution. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. That is so ugly. All right, no solution. Pause the video here if you need to continue writing down the work for example 1. Example 2. Again, looking at this, we have to solve this second equation for y in order to answer this question, okay? So the first thing that we can do here, we have different options, but I'm going to go ahead and subtract 1 first. So I'm left with 2x minus y equals -1. Now I'm going to subtract 2x. Left with -y equals -2x minus 1. Lastly, we need to get rid of this negative, so I'm going to divide -1. Divide everything by -1. And I'm left with y equals 2x plus 1. Okay? So now the two equations that I have are y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals 2x plus 1. Well, I can see right off the bat that this is the exact same equation. So that tells me same slope, same y-intercept, which means infinitely many solutions. All right, pause the video here if you need to continue writing down the work. Example 3, you guys are going to try by yourself. So pause the video here, give everyone the opportunity to try it. Press play once everyone has gotten some kind of answer. All right, so we need to solve this second equation. 2x plus y equals 1. Subtract 2x on both sides. Y equals -2x plus 1. We're left with y equals -2x plus 5 and y equals -2x plus 1. From my observation, I see same slope, different y-intercept, so that tells me no solution. Hopefully everyone got that answer. If not, you got one more shot. Let's move on to example 4. Everyone's going to try this one by themselves. Pause the video, press play once everyone has gotten a chance to work it out. All right, we need to solve this second equation. We have x minus y minus 3 equals 0. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I'm left with x minus y equals 3. Now I'm going to subtract x from both sides. -y equals -x plus 3. Lastly, I'm going to divide -1. So y equals x minus 3. So my two equations are y equals x minus 3, y equals x minus 3. Same equation, which means same slope, same y-intercept. That is infinitely many solutions. And that concludes your lesson for today.